Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCT Center, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide, mentor, co-creator, and galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And with me today again is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to high dimensions of being. Morganne has been called the healer of healers as a way to describe unique spiritual tools she shares. Morganne is here to serve those who seek great understanding of their secret spiritual self and have the deep desire to integrate that consciousness in their 3D world. And with us is Jeannie Rayne, licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington, working primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeannie sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. So, hello, 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 two wonderful, lovely ladies. We are together again. How you been? How you enjoying summer?
It's going. It keeps on going. It's busy. It's so busy. I'm so busy between gardening and um, letting stuff go and doing my own personal work and clients and getting ready for class on Sunday and helping people with with their critters. It's a busy, but I'm glad to be engaged. What did they say? Health is a function of participation.
Mm.
I would say I'm pretty healthy because I have high participation in a lot of different things. So that's how Morganne's doing. How's Jeannie doing?
I'm good. I'm busy as well with a lot of different things. I'm at a point where I'm a little overwhelmed. And, one of the things is I don't know why this is, but I have this thing with taxes. And, it's every year I'm the same way. And I have so much stress about it that it stops me from doing anything because I'm just trying to avoid it. Even though I think I try to use all these strategies to face it, and but it keeps on coming up, and so it's I need to get a practice of really just sitting down and doing it. If I could just chip away a little at a day every day. And my problem is I do it all longhand. I don't use QuickBooks or anything. And everybody asks me why, and I'm just like, it's just there's so many blocks around this, and I don't know why it is. I don't have that in any aspect of my life except taxes. So it's interesting.
Well, if we weren't on YouTube, we could have a big conversation about that.
I do hope it will be over soon. I actually um, get on Facebook and no, not on Facebook. I think it came up somewhere on YouTube. Uh, some video that actually this year everything supposedly has to change. Yeah,
Yeah.
and my guidance is that it will happen much quicker than you think
Mm.
and absolutely different way than you think.
Oh, yeah. And listen to this. Just look at the stress Jeannie's under with this thing, right? And okay, I'm going to try to circumvent so I don't get us in trouble. But something that is not even correct, it's not correct, it's not legal, it's none of those things. Yet here it is in her lap causing stress. It's like, and how many people has that happened to? I won't even go into my story. Jeannie knows my story around that, right? It's not good, right? But here I am smiling, right? Because I know the truth about it. And just like you said, to me, what's happening right now are a lot of answered prayers, like systems that take life away from us humans, systems that prey on us. We have for decades been working in consciousness to release all of that entrapment, right? So that we could live lives of sovereignty and love and freedom and joy, because we don't know that as humans, especially um in our age brackets. We've been so controlled for so long, we don't even know how to be sovereign and free. And that's so beyond sad. And I do this, well, yeah, I do it for me too, but I do it for my generations, my future generations, so my grandchildren don't have to deal with this crap. That we can finally understand what happened to us, and then um, and begin to enjoy. I used to think about this one verse in the Bible, when especially around something like what Jeannie was talking about. And I'm paraphrasing. Consider the lilies of the field; they toil not, neither do they suffer. And it's all about, that whole scripture is about relax, right? Everything will be provided. Consider the lilies of the field. They have everything they need. Everything gets everything they need. Humans are the only thing that are made, forced, coerced into paying to be alive. We pay for everything to just draw breath here. So, okay, I'm off my
And
rant.
I actually been just guided to read you something. The fast forward button has been pressed. We are being pushed out of the last of our comfort zones into new unfolding at cosmic speed. You cannot go back. The past is closed portal. But the future, your soul knows it well. The way you are here, an old karmic loop dissolved, energy surged, the timeline shifted. Collectively, we've been set free, and yet, like animals released from a long captivity, we must remember that we are free. The cage no longer exists, only the memory of it. What still binds us is illusion, old cords, familiar fears, but they are only real if we keep choosing them. The key now becomes the flow. When you merge with the cosmic current, you don't just ride the wave, you become the wave.
Mm,
That's where energy, clarity, and so deep inspiration live. You are not just heading somewhere new, you are becoming who you truly are.
yes.
So, yeah, and I've been working. Hmm, if you can call that work, I've been working very hard on praying, on affirmations, on my angelic uh, committees. I've been working very hard. Don't ask me how many clients past few weeks I was seeing. That's not a lot, but I've been working very hard. I've been praying. I've been trying to be just literally ignore all my fears, ignore all my blocks. Yeah, just be above them. Just feel this into this energy. Just feel this wave. Try be in this wave. Yeah,
Yep.
not not go down there. Not at all. No, no, nothing.
No, because if we go down that path, right, we give it energy. So when we are making new decisions in our life, when we turn our car to go the other way, we got to keep going the other way, because if you keep going back, you're flip flopping, right?
You're going in circles.
Say again.
You're going in circles.
You're going in circles, exactly. You know, it was interesting because yesterday I was thinking about a woman that had been in my. She was a practitioner. She was lots older than me, so I don't even know if she's alive. But I remember this is when I had two young, very young children, and something had happened, and I was a little stressed about money, and I had just gone for prayer, just help me get my mind back on the track, right? And she goes, "Okay, great, we'll pray for peace." I go, "I don't need peace, I need money." And she said, she said, "If you had all the money you needed, would you feel peaceful?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "We're going to pray for peace." And what's interesting, I was thinking about her yesterday, and I think the day before I was thinking about her too, which is really interesting. And then today's reading is about being peaceful, and I want to read that because really it's like what Dago was talking about. When we begin a new thought, a new, I don't want to call it a belief because I don't like that word, because lie is in the middle of it. But when we create a new way of thinking, right? Um, at at it's again, I'll go back to that firewalk theory, right? Um, when you're standing, and I know most people haven't done a fire walk here, and that's okay, but you can kind of get the image of what it might be. And if you can imagine that you might decide to do a fire walk and you're standing in front of a hot bed of coals, that the fire is flicking up and the coals are glowing red, um, and you're standing in front of that thing, and everything you have ever learned about fire is going to come up right there real fast. Everything. And then the idea, oh yeah, you're going to walk in that, that's really stupid. You know, the whole judgment thing will come up, and it all happens like in a nanosecond. It's not like you don't have to put any energy on what might I think if I'm going to stand here. It all comes up. So to much like making a new decision and following that path is like walking the fire, right? Because everything that is unlike it will come up to greet you, right? The deal is not to focus on any of that. The deal is focus on the experience that you want on the other side. And you know, I said we've been praying for a long time for all these changes. We have been. It's sometimes been a battle to continue to vision that, but I see that the vision is coming to fruition. It's just like the fire walk, changing your life, changing systems, changing ideas, beliefs. Um, is just like that firewalk. When you're standing in front of everything that's unlike it, is of your desire, your goal that's on the other side is going to come up. But when we put our attention fully and completely on the end goal, so what would be my end goal at the firewalk would be, for me, it was, yes, I did it. And that's what I focused on. Yes, I did it. And I got that energy and that feeling. What did that feel like to walk? And I got that. And when I had that, then I walked across the fire, and nothing, because it wasn't about the fire. It was about the end result. Same thing here. And like, you know, her message to me was, I'll pray for peace. I don't need peace. I need money. No, she was going for the end result, and I was trying to get the money, right? It's really funny how we think, right? So I was trying to get money so I could be peaceful. That's flip-flopped. Peace, when you become peaceful, things flow. You're not worried. Worrying is like praying for what you don't want over and over and over again. That's worry. Praying for what you don't want. I'm going to read today, July 3rd. And isn't it interesting? I don't know if you can see it. Do you see this little word worry?
1 minute, please. Leave that. Leave that.
Bring it back. Okay, okay, okay. Can you see that under July 3rd?
Worry.
It says
Worry.
worry. I just noticed that. Okay, so let me read this. July 3rd, worry. Seek peacefulness, not specific answers. Because we think we need to know exactly how to proceed in all areas of life, and because we harbor particular wants and desires, we seek complicated, detailed solutions for every situation that surfaces. We muddle our minds with worry over how we should do our part in whatever circumstance beckons. Considering the strength of the ordinary ego, that's not surprising. The ego wants what it wants when it wants it. Well, there's another way to do our part. We can dispense with the idea of detail altogether. That may seem unusual, but only because we are so accustomed to letting our ego run our lives. Seeking no answer, no solution can be refreshing. Desiring peace rather than a complicated agenda of activities is so much less burdensome. We will feel like new people, as if a miracle has occurred, and indeed it has. Changing our minds about what to seek changes everything about what we get. That last sentence is so potent. I'm going to read it one more time. Changing our minds about what to seek changes everything about what we get. And so the affirmation for today is, what I seek, I will find. I will quietly remember this today. Those are some powerful words.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I'm wondering why I'm worrying so much about my taxes. And it's funny because I think it's lack of peace. Like even the word taxes gives you lack of peace. And it's like, because I have the money if I owe money, which I don't even know if I do or not, you know, but I have all this stress around it. It's just crazy, but it's lack of peace, you know, that I have. And so if it's like, if I can get into peace with it, and also what you said about the firework, the walk, how will I feel once I'm through, you know? And so reach for the joy of that and just do it.
Exactly. And the joy will take you there. Joy will, it's kind of like when, you know, for me, it was, I did it, right? Like the hands up, the fist pumping, I did it, you know,
Right.
it's like,
So what I'm thinking about, it's like I could see it as a game or a challenge, like, you know, and you know how like you're preparing for something and then you do it and you're all happy. Like I could do that with my taxes.
absolutely.
You know? Like it was a mindset. And I realized as we were talking, it's an old mindset that, you know, whenever you talk about tax, it's a negative connotation. So it brings it up. And so years of that has brought it up in me. And it's just, So this brought me a lot of awareness.
So, and not only for you, but for how many other humans, right?
Absolutely.
And then we're on a cycle. Like everybody gets oh my God, it's tax season. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, it's like all this, I call that loose, right? We're giving all that energy, that negative, and it's negative, it's fear energy.
Right.
It's all fear energy. And I say evil loves fear energy, right? The ego loves fear energy. How we trip it up, not trick it, but trip it up, is go, hey, I think I'll be joyous about this. How about, you know, to begin to have a whole different way of approaching our lives as free sovereign beings that are filled with peace and joy and goodness. Like that's a whole different way to go about it. But it's the only way that really works, that gives us the result we're really seeking, which is peace.
Right.
We just want to all be at peace.
Right. So for me, if I see it as a game, like can I get, like it's like climbing a mountain, you know, like you put one foot in front of the other and you know you can get there, because once you get there, it's going to be a beautiful view. And it's just like, you know, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like just put one foot in front of the other and it's and you'll get there.
Yeah.
Right? I worked with a client this week, and and the person had company, so they were going around to different places to look, you know, bringing her friend around and showing places, and the friend wanted to go on a hike. Well, this person doesn't hike, right? So it was like when I started working with her, she goes, never doing that again. I hated every step of it. And I said, yeah, but you did it. You did it. And I said, and you got back. She said, the only reason I got back is because I was focused on, I got to get to the car. I go, well, whatever goal you got, right? I go, you getting back to the car got you done.
Right.
Right. I said, you did your fire walk. Yeah. Was it hard? Yeah. So,
but think about her body and how good it was for her body to do it.
Oh yeah, and her mind, like, look what I can do.
Right.
Look what I could. Oh, I didn't think I could do that. Oh, I can do that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I talk about firewalks a lot, but there was a period of time in my life where I was like doing all these challenge things. I did some pretty crazy things, but one of them was we were in a class and it was brick breaking night. Okay, so it had all the bricks were there, and they're like brick, like, you know, like a brick, right? A red brick. So and these were solid bricks. These weren't the ones with the 3 holes in them. They were just a solid brick. So again, same principle, right? If you think about that and you tell somebody, okay, I want you to just break that brick with your hand, not even just with your hand, you got to break it with, like right here, right? So you use your hand to break it. Same concept. The teacher taught the same thing, focus on the end result, right? And it was inevitably the guys. It was the guys. They would like make these noises to like pump themselves up, you know, to go and break that brick. And never could they get through the brick because they were trying to use all that external and then smash, and then they couldn't break the brick and they would hurt themselves. So I watched that go on and I listened to the teacher. So I imagined that the brick was just simply a large slab of butter and that my hand went through it easily. So that was my visualization. This isn't a brick, it's a large melty piece of butter and my hand goes through easily. I went up to the brick and went poof, and my hand was right through, the brick was broken in half, and I walked away, and everybody's going, what? Right? But it's the end result that you let that lead. So all that pumping up and puffing up, that doesn't get you anywhere. Focusing on the end result, that's what takes you.
Right.
Actually, power of your own mind.
Exactly. Your right mind, anyway. The power of your right mind. Because remember, we talk about in the Course in Miracles, we got wrong thinking and we got right thinking, right? And it's using the mind in a way that's in that right thinking, right? Because the wrong thinking will lead you down the wrong path.
Right. The wrong thinking is about fear, and which is hurting my hand if I'm cutting, doing a brick, or about love, like it's just butter and I'm just going through it.
Yep. One of the ones we did, and this was a 2-person activity, and that's always a little scary because you can know what your consciousness is, but you don't quite know what the other person's consciousness is, right? And this is called rebar bending. So rebar is this steel cable bar that's really long. I think this one was like 6 feet long, 9 feet long. So it was pretty long. And the deal was, you take the rebar and you position one end in your throat well, and the other person has it sitting in their throat well.
Wow.
Right there. So you got a steel bar connected between you and the other human you're working with, right? And the deal is, you get into sync in your thinking that the rebar is already bent. So before we started the exercise, I said, to me, bending the rebar will look, and I said, it will look like the letter A, right? Like how you, or a V, right? It would be that collapsed. And I said, can you visualize what that looks like? And she said, yeah, I know what that looks like, right? I said, well, hold that vision, and then you and I will sync up, and then we'll bend the rebar. So here we got it in our throat well. Now that's a very vulnerable place to have a metal, not just metal, steel bar jamming into your throat well, right? That could go wrong in so many ways. But she and I just synced up, got in conscious union with one another, and we knew when we both were like right there. And she and I started walking toward one another, and that steel bar bent like butter. It was remarkable.
Wow.
It was remarkable. No injury, no nothing, right? It things we're told out in the world to be afraid of is just hogwash. It's not true.
Right.
Just not true. So anyway, yeah, there you go.
That's beautiful. And it's also, saying, showing examples of how we're more powerful than society would have you believe.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think society's doing its best to keep everybody pretty diminished.
Right. And and I think we get that way with the news, with a lot of different things, and people buy into, like, get hooked into it. And then, the news is pretty negative. And so, so you walk away from the news, and you've just absorbed all that. So you become more negative, and people aren't aware of, and they're blaming other things for their own negativity. And they're not aware of, they've just been kind of brainwashed on negativity.
Yep.
And they've absorbed that energy and now carrying it. And it's like, it's about becoming more awake and aware of what's happening with us, and what are we choosing, and what's coming out from outside of us. And you know, to be more intentional about how we spend our time and what we want to focus on, because we, you know, we're always at choice. And when we commiserate with somebody about something, we're just, you know, our vibration and everything is just going down. And it's like, you know, for me, it's like, I have so much time on this earth, and how do I want to spend my time?
Yep.
And it's like, do I want to waste it on negativity? You know,
Yep.
we're either doing something about, like physically doing something about it, or we're wasting time. And if we're not physically doing something about it, then I don't want to waste my time, you know, it being negative.
Exactly. And that's just it. It's not just wasting your time, it's wasting your beautiful energy.
Right.
Right? It's like, you know, I'll go back to like that first election where Mr. Trump won the election, right? And then I could see that happening, right? But I'm going to choose joy no matter what. I knew around me people hated him and didn't want that. I already heard that. I knew that. But I go into work and I'm joyful doing my thing. And the owner comes in and man, she's pissed and like, can't get why I'm not pissed, right? Why are you not angry? And I just looked at her and I said, why in the world would I give my beautiful energy to that? Why? No, no, I'm going to choose joy because just like commiseration, it's infectious, right?
Right.
We think that commiseration and trauma bonding and all that stuff, that's not positive. That's just amplifying the negative. Stop commiseration, stop complaining, stop gossiping, right? It's all of that is that negative energy, and be careful what what you put out there, right? Because it will come back because you're just what you're doing is you're building that up. Your every cell of your body. Here's it. I listened to a beautiful podcast this morning in the background while I was getting ready, and he was saying he's like almost 70 years old, and he tells his body every morning, "I'm getting better and better every day." I love that. I'm
Beautiful.
getting stronger and stronger every day. And he almost died when he was 64 from cancer. And
Mm.
he began this regimen of telling himself how wonderful his body was, how strong his body was. Our cells are listening. Our cells are listening. They're all listening. So that was a beautiful thing to listen to today. How he retrained his thinking to think positively about his beingness.
I love that. It's fabulous. Think about starting our day like that every day.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's like my concept of youngering, right? Because
right.
everybody goes, okay, well, and I think I shared, my daughter's now tracking me, right? Um, Out of their just concern, oh, mom's aging, da da da, right? And I'm just like, yeah, but I feel like I'm 16 sometimes, right? And it's like I feel good, I feel strong. I don't look my age, and I don't, it's like it's like no, I want to bring this youth and this energy and vitality. I think maybe that's why I like being around children because, they have all of that. And it just reminds me of my own youth, my own vitality, my own juiciness, my own, all of that, right? But people start at a certain age, whatever it is for them, and they start that decline down, right? They start old thinking. I'm done thinking. I've lived my life thinking, and they begin to become um, decrepit and crippled and attract disease and whatever. It truly is using your mind in the correct way.
Yeah.
Youngering. Let's all younger together.
Absolutely.
Morganne soon will be wearing pampers.
I know some people my age that are wearing them.
No, I'm talking in a good way. I'm not talking about aging way. I'm talking about you are youngering, so soon will be start crawling.
Well, I just want to be I'm here on this planet and I might as well be that beautiful lily in the field, right? Just in all its radiance and glory, just face to the sun, enjoying the day. What a beautiful way to live. It's just, you know, no worries. No worries. I was looking to see what time we got going on here.
At the moment, 36 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, just seeing if we had time to do cards. I don't know if we do, but
We
Why don't we
can do one or two,
Yeah,
whatever.
why don't we do one? for a little
okay.
bit?
All right, so let me go get some. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
While we're waiting for Morganne, please don't forget like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channels so we can spread our knowledge wide and more people can notice us.
Okay, so I was grabbing these cards because this is what I was told, but I want to show what fell out of a deck I was pulling out. That's
Ah,
for Daga. That's for Daga.
That's for me.
That's for Daga.
that's fabulous.
We're not going to use those cards today, but I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so someone choose a focus. Or do we want Source to choose our focus?
I think Source could choose focus.
Yeah,
If
me too.
we're using today one card, then let's Source to choose.
Okay, let's see what we got here. You ready?
The creator.
Creator.
Yep, the creator. Yep. Look at that beautiful golden light down there in the seat of his will. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
It is beautiful card.
Yeah. Well, let me read what it says about the creator. I believe that's what we all are. Let's see. King of Fire, the mastery of action. 48. Okay, here's a little commentary about it. The Zen master in this card has harnessed the energy of fire and is able to use it for creation rather than destruction. He invites us to recognize and participate with him in the understanding that belongs to those who have mastered the fires of passion without repressing them or allowing them to get destructive and out of balance. He is so integrated that there is no longer any difference between who he is inside and who he is in the world outside. He offers this gift of understanding and integration to all those who come to him, the gift of creative light that comes from the center of his being. The King of Fire tells us that anything that we undertake now, with the understanding that comes from maturity, will bring enrichment to our own lives and to the lives of others. Using whatever skills you have, whatever you have learned from your own life experience, it's time to express yourself. The creator. There are two types of creators in the world. One type of creator works with objects, a poet, a painter. They work with objects that they create. The other type of creator, the mystic, creates himself. He doesn't work with objects. He works with the subject. He works on himself, his own being. And he is the real creator, the real poet, because he makes himself into a masterpiece. You are carrying a masterpiece hidden within you, but you are standing in the way. Just move aside. Then the masterpiece will be revealed. Everyone is a masterpiece because God never gives birth to anything less than that. Everyone carries that masterpiece hidden for many lives, not knowing who they are and just trying to, on the surface, to become someone. Drop the idea of becoming someone because you are already a masterpiece. You cannot be improved. You have to come to it, to know it, to realize it. God has himself created you. You cannot be improved.
Beautiful.
Dago, what you got to say about that?
I just I'm because I was as soon you start reading this, I was guided to get something else. Not from creator. What is my purpose in life? I ask creator. What if I told you that you fulfilled it when you took an extra hour to talk to the kind about, sorry, what if I told you that you fulfill it when you took an extra hour to talk the kid about his life, said creator, or when you paid for the young couple in restaurant, or when you saved the dog in traffic, or when you tied your father's shoelaces. Your problem is that you equate your purpose with a goal-based achievement. The universe isn't interested in your achievements, just your heart. When you choose to act out of kindness, compassion, and love, you are already aligned with your true purpose. No need to look any farther.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So I think it comes back to, I mean, it's still in alignment with the conversation we've been having. It's like we create our own lives. We create that. We create it by the worry we do or the alignment and holding a vision of an end goal of something beautiful. Yep. Yep. We're the creator. It was perfect today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. The creator. So we got a couple of minutes. Do we want to do a tiny meditation?
Of course. What a question. You know, that's my favorite part.
Let's do it. Oh, beloveds, let's journey within. And so I'm just going to invite you to get yourself grounded with me. Get your feet on the floor, if all possible. Even if they're in your shoes, just have your feet planted on the floor. And let's together breathe in a breath of life. Breathe it deeply in. And allow that breath that you've just breathed in to just touch every cell of your being. And on the out breath, release anything unlike life. Let it go. And we're going to do that breath again. We're going to know and imagine that the breath outside of us that we're about to breathe into our body temples is filled is filled with life, is filled with joy, is filled with what we need to be joyous, happy, brilliant humans. So let's take that breath in. Breathe it in slowly. Let it ignite every cell of your being, reminding every cell, I am joy. I am joy. I am peace. And on the out breath, breathe out anything unlike that. Breathe it out. It's like we're using the breath to wash away, to sweep away thoughts, beliefs, constraints, lower frequencies. We're using the breath to just sweep it away. And as you continue to just breathe in, breathing in the breath of the divine, breathing in the breath of creation, breathing in the breath of joy and love. And on the exhale, continue to release anything that is unlike that, known and unknown. So as you continue to breathe and be at peace and relax, recognize there's really nothing else to do. Taking this time to stop, to breathe in and claim with your sacred I am peace. And relax into that. I am joy. Breathe that in and relax into that. And let a smile come over not only your face, but your whole body. I am stronger every day, and feel into what that feels like. And just relax into it and feel what it feels like to be stronger today than you were yesterday. This is one of my favorite I am statements. I am brilliant. Breathe that in. I am brilliant. And just breathe it in and just let that settle into every cell of your being and imagine what it feels like to be brilliant, shiny, brilliant, where you're tapped into knowingness, you're tapped into knowledge, and you're also tapped into the light. Just rest in what that would feel like. I am brilliant. And as you just sit there and breathe, and maybe you have your own I am statements you would like to breathe in and Allow your body to relax and your cells to receive that. Your mind to begin to form a new neural pathway to begin to hold that new thought. Remember that new thought. I am. I am peace. I am joy. I am love. I am at peace in all areas of my life. I am at peace in my heart. I am at peace in my mind. I am at peace in all my relationships. I am in peace with my money and my income and my flow of creation. I am at peace. And I just relax and allow the peace to flow, knowing I am always cared for. I am always loved. I am peace. And I invite you throughout your days until we come back together again to just block out the world and its busyness and even its craziness and take the time to move back inside where you are creator. Create peace, create love, create joy. Hold that. Remember that. Let that be your end goal that takes you across any fire you might come across. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. Let's take one more anchoring breath in. And just a big sigh. Let it go. Feel how good that feels to let go and let God be in you and as you and through you. I am. I am. And so it is.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jeannie, do you have something to say?
Thank you again, ladies. Wonderful, beautiful as always. And thanks for everyone that's listening. And I hope you've gotten as much out of it as we have.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, lovely ladies. Thank you for your time, for all this knowledge sharing. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who is listening. And please remember, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channel so we have opportunity to reach more wider people. And also, please look back on our previous shows. There is many, many previous shows with great knowledge as well and meditations on end. So a lot to look up. Have a great week and hopefully see you next week. Bye
Happy
bye.
4th of July. Everybody be safe.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.